Good morning. All right. I was just waiting until I saw a couple more people jump on. At least that's the hope. Hey, good morning, Dennis. Hope you're doing good. All right. There's a couple more people. Cool. Hey, good morning, Christine. So, I got a couple people, so that's always a good thing. You never know on a Saturday if everybody's going to be awake yet. Hey, what's up, Donnie? So, yes, good morning. Welcome to mid morning. I can never do it right. It sounds good in my head, but welcome to mid morning medium chat with yours truly. There you go. See, if I just slow down, that's my thing. Maybe I just talk too fast. I got to slow down a little bit more because you know it's better to uh, talk slowly so that way people understand you. Right, right. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, Sheila. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Another week is finally behind us. Sorry about last weekend. So I guess I should start there and kind of bring everybody up to date. Uh, you, man, I think it goes without saying, I'm not obviously the only one that has dealt with all kinds of issues. Uh, it's just interesting that, it's like you can't I can't go very long without something else popping up. And then this last run, which still technically isn't over, uh, I'm still dealing with issues, but this one's been probably the worst, so far. And it's weird is that like I said, a lot of people have been going through it, similar to me. Lots of other mediums and empaths and light workers and stuff have all been dealing with issues. Some are similar to, we've all had them sometimes at the same time, same symptoms. And then there's been others that have been a little bit different, but unique to them. And, I, I think a lot of it was said back, in the spring. So obviously, like when the whole pandemic started, there was so much, all kinds of energy just floating all over the place. A lot of astrological events, if you're into that, was going on. So, all those things tied together just kind of created like this weird mixing bowl of stuff. And um I believed in the whole thing. And as far as the ideas of where we're at, as far as having to deal with things on a personal level, because obviously a lot of us were shut down. Some of us still are shut down from when it comes to like our day jobs. Some have been able to go back, which is great. I have fortunately is still working from home, but only part-time, so that's kind of been a stinger. So that's been on my mind a lot more in recent months. But you make the best out of it. And it's weird is that I thought, well, with me being only part-time with my day job, I would try to push this stuff a lot more. And yet then the health stuff starts showing up, and then that kind of tears me down. So I'm like, what am I can I just get a break? Can I get something going here? So, but but that's the whole thing. You guys see it. Post about it, a lot, is just trying to be as positive as as much as I can, because obviously, you know if live in this cesspool of negativity, I mean, it just doesn't get you anywhere. You sit there and drag it out. And I've said it many times. Hey, Dina. And you know others say it all the time, but we can't not preach about it because it's so true. And like this last couple of weeks have been really rough on me. And I've been sitting there, and I'm like, I felt bad that I couldn't do this last week, but it's like, I just was burnt out of energy, and I was trying to build up what energy I could have, because Saturday afternoon, well, all of Saturday was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, so it was a big deal. And a lot of family was getting together, so I was trying to conserve as much energy as I could, so that way I could show up. Now, mind you, myself and my family, we were it's so funny because it was basically mostly outdoors, for the distancing and things like that. But I felt I felt so funny that, my family and I, yet I'm sick, with multiple things, and one of them just being a common cold, which, was horrible timing. Hey, Dana. And we brought our own table and chairs, so my family of 4, we're all sitting way out in the middle of the yard by ourselves, like we're like some contagious, group. And so that was kind of funny. I mean, it's funny looking back at it and things. Hey, Nancy. But I was just completely, I felt weird about it, but at the same time, we still wanted to try to, you know, share my parents' joy of being together 50 years. So, you can't, it's hard to miss that. But at the same time, that's why I was like, the morning just was rough and I was trying to rest and get some, take a cat nap and stuff like that before we went over in the evening. So, but yeah, so we hung out and that was a good time. But other than that, yeah, getting over the cold was probably the worst because it was, it zapped my energy, and a lot of times, I mean, you get the cold, it's just a runny nose and, you just kind of feel lousy. And so, I definitely had some energy issues and things that I just didn't have that go, you guys, a lot of you know me and see me on the other show and stuff. Hey, Cindy. And I try to make things happy and positive and I don't want to come on here and just be all dreary and stuff and then be like, wow, what's wrong with this guy, so I gotta throw some humor in there somewhere, even if it's at my own expense. I'm gonna laugh at stupid jokes or make fun of myself, whatever it takes to get everybody to smile. So that's always the key thing. So but yeah, so with that cold being over with, that's been a great thing, and I finally been able to, focus on other things. So I mean, I'm not going to get into the other issues because even then it's still kind of like a work in progress, but it is working out for me. So I feel like I've kind of got a good grip on things, and I'm trying to try things to make myself in a better shape. Better shape as far as just overall health, because I think that's a big thing is whether it's just been being home or it's just simply time or just because I'm getting older that you have to look at things a lot differently the older you get. So I didn't think I'd get that at this age yet, but whatever. I'll deal with it as best I can. So but so um yeah, other than that, like I said, just been trying to kind of get back into the flow of things again. It seems like every time I start ramping up again, I get shot down. So that's another thing that, it's frustration. And I think, we've all been through moments like this in our lives where you know, you're trying real hard for things or you're practicing or whatever the case is, or you're going after, certain things and something happens and it stops you, and that's the whole thing is no matter how many times, you keep getting shut down, if you still have that drive to do or achieve or obtain or whatever the case is, hey, Tina, you got to keep going for it. I mean, it's, deep within you, if it's right, and don't let, setbacks, tear you completely down. I think that happens a lot, after a couple times, then we just give up and move on and find something else. But, you know, you'll know if you have a deep passion for something, whatever it is, whatever subject, whatever matter it is. But make sure don't give up. There obviously is times where yes, it is necessary to give up, but but then again, don't let things that are hurdles that get in your way uh stop you. I mean, they're just hurdles. They're things that you can get over, you can overcome them. So you know keep moving forward, because that's the important thing is, you know if you really truly are into it, it's gonna the end result's probably gonna be way better than you probably imagined. And just like for me, I keep ramping up, I keep wanting to do more things, on this, my channel, and my with Debbie and our Beyond the Silence one, we're trying to do more, and it's like they're just hurdles, they're just inconveniences right now, but it doesn't stop from doing what we love to do. So hey, Debbie, good morning. So yeah, we're doing what we can, and trying to push forward, and I think it's awesome that we get a chance to you know do what we all do. So yeah, it's kind of fun to be where we're at. But yeah, so like I said, I'm feeling better, so that's always the positive thing. And this week was definitely the change that I was hoping for, and hopefully I'm not going to be down again. So that's the thing is I keep saying I'm going to ramp things up, and we're going to try to get back into things and do more things and offer more things. And then the next thing I know, I'm back down again. So obviously either I'm moving too quickly or, I'm just not paying attention to the signs because the mind is jumping two steps forward when it should be focusing on what the first step is going to be. So I'm looking to look at that a little bit better and then go from there. Hey, good morning, Jan. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, but yeah, so we're just kind of cool. I mean, it's interesting now that we're in fall. The temperatures are definitely dropping. I mean, uh, it's crazy. The last couple mornings, you wake up and you come downstairs and it's like it's really cold in this house, and it's temperature. We haven't officially done anything with heat yet, and turning the heat on, but we you know have the air on when it gets pretty warm because the second floor gets pretty toasty towards the evening once all the sun is absorbed through, and so now the second floor is crazy. So we're trying to we still bump the air on occasionally just to get those upper floors cooled off, but yeah, like when you come down in the mornings now it's like in the 60s and mid to upper 60s in the main floor, and it's like whoo. I'm still putting shorts on, but I put a hoodie on and then I'm like, okay. So we definitely know we're in fall weather. There's no doubt about that because just a week or two ago, it was still, mid 70s, in the morning. So it's crazy that we're at that time. But it's the season, so we have to embrace it as best we can. So um but yeah, if they're hey, what's up, Jeff? Yeah. He's just kind of going back to what I said a few minutes ago. Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you have to align yourself with and things like that. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, even then, I mean, here it is, late September, and we're still, hitting pretty good weather. Good morning, Lou. Thank you, sir. Let me see what the my local weather is. So, I mean, it's 52 right now with a high of 64. Looking over the next 10 days, geez, I see an 80 next Wednesday. So if that doesn't tell you, so yes, that does kind of go along with what you're saying, Wendy. A lot of mid 70s. I think tomorrow's 67, and after that, it's 73 or higher. So and through a week Monday. So yeah, we're definitely going to be getting into October. With some decent weather, so it ain't gonna be that cold. But you know, I don't think we're gonna complain too much. But what's weird is it's a funny thing that I no, I'm not this part is definitely not some type of like conspiracy type of thing, but yeah, Sheila, what there is a way, and so the way to do that is when I post about the show, or if I'm, if we're doing, or if you ever check out our Beyond the Silence show on Tuesday nights with my friend Debbie, we if there's a when I schedule the show, so like in this window, there's a when the broadcast comes up, if you go to our pages, so either like this page for this bi-weekly show or the my Beyond the Silence with Debbie on Tuesdays, there's a way to click a notify on the window that's popped up, so when we announce what show we are going to do, then it hits it. The other thing is to make sure that you do have your notifications on. I know Facebook does a lot of weird things with algorithms and things, so it's hard to say. I just know that when we do broadcast a show again here or on my Beyond the Silence one, there's a way to click on it and it'll notify you when it does start. So when Debbie and I will be talking about our show for Tuesday this weekend, so we'll figure out who if we're going to have a guest or if we're just going to do a topic. And when that pops up, it'll be on our Beyond the Silence radio page, and there should be a button, I think, in one of the corners that'll say, "Hey, remind me or notify me when it starts." So, and then that way it'll pop up on the bell, the notification bell on your Facebook page. So, and I forget where I was going back with that. I was going to go somewhere. That's okay, but that's always a good thing too, because I know some people don't always remember, because again, I'm only doing bi-weekly right now. I mean, if it comes to a point where I can do it more often, then I will. But for now, we're just going to stick to this schedule, because I know in the future, obviously, this would probably have been tough because normally there's a lot of weekends, whether if there's not a paranormal event, there's or an investigation or a holistic event or some sort, going on, our family things personally. So, yeah, you should, Sheila. Debbie and I do, we have a great time, and we have guests on, and we could, yeah, we could, Debbie. I mean, we're getting into October, so I mean, it'd be a great idea to start getting into the Halloween vibe, you know. And so, and we kind of do that. I think that's probably where we're going to go anyway. We kind of bring up a lot of the classics. We a couple years ago we did that where we like every week in October we talked about something, whether it was like vampires or werewolves and things like that. Just some of the classic Halloween stuff. Just to get us into the mood for October 31st. So so maybe we should. But yeah, but that's one of the cool things, you know about like that show in particular, Beyond the Science, with my friend Debbie there. We have guests, all the time. We try to find some good ones. Sometimes you guys know them, you've seen them on TV. Sometimes they're local people that you might not have heard of, but you might be amazed at what they do bring to the table. um, and that's always kind of fun. So I mean, Sheila, you can always go back and watch any of those shows. So you just go to Beyond the Silence Radio, and you click on those, and check some of them out, or just see if there's anything that crosses your mind, because you'll see what the titles are, in of what they were about, whether it was a topic show um, or a guest. So, but those are fun. I love doing that with Debbie. Like I said, we have a great time. We're always, I mean, some of the subjects we get into, the really we get deep, and we're sitting there just like, this is awesome. And so we have a blast, and so we have fun. And even then, if you stick around, it's kind of even funnier is we kind of go off the rails. So if you guys do see, typically after, because we start at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then after 8 o'clock, it seems like the our hairs are truly down, and then we start kind of getting slap happy and things, which is weird because it always seems to happen. But it becomes hilarious, and then everybody's kind of dying laughing by the time we close up the show. So hi, Lisa. um so yeah, Tuesdays, if you guys haven't ever checked that out before, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock on Beyond the Silence radio page. um but yeah, I'm trying to think, what other things were going on right now that might be kind of fun to share. Um, you think so, Jeff? It does. It might make it be better, or it might make you panic more, especially if it's a darker topic. You never know. I mean, um, gosh, we did a show, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, on the BEK, which is Black Eyed Kids. And that was a dark topic, and we had a great guest. We had one that was the first reporter that ever talked about it live, which was amazing. Like the first person ever to really document it, as far as publishing it, to for everybody to read about his experiences. So um it that was a pretty cool show. But that's the thing is, yeah, maybe some of those shows you might not want to drink too much, but no, respectfully be careful. Gotta put that disclaimer out there, you know what I mean? But, um, so, uh, oh, cool. Yep. And, and when you do tiptoe, just make sure that you're always being careful, Sheila. You know, if she's been doing it for a while, then I'm sure there's a lot of things that you can learn from her. Especially, like I said, especially if you've been doing it for a while. I mean, if she's gone to several of them, I mean, you know, are we all, are any of us truly experts at this? Of course not. We do, some of us have experience at a lot of things, absolutely. So the more you do it, the more you work with other people, which is always a good thing to do, because you might be able to pick up a technique or learn something that you didn't know before. So um you know be open minded, but at the same time, just make sure that you're not open to every single thing that's going on out there. You know what I mean? As far as, hey, good morning, Carmen. You want to make sure that you're not that open to where you're going to be subject to, being picked on by the other side. I guess that's a different way of putting it, but um, you know, because a lot of times people that are well, that and Sheila, I guess another great advice would be is uh, don't be so don't be fearful of it because that's a flag for the other side. When they see fear and or anger, they come running, for those because that's the people they want to mess with. So definitely don't be afraid. I mean, yeah, when there's a big loud bang or something like that. I mean, I think everybody's been startled at some point. I have. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've had some. I mean, that's the thing is, you're used to small knocks and things like that, or voices, that you're actually disembodied voices that you're hearing. But besides the mediumship thing going on too, but there's the real like in your face stuff, can definitely startle you. But majority of the time, it's like I'm like a rock. Let's just keep going. I mean, Debbie, who's my partner there, we were we were at a couple of years ago, we were at Post Down Elementary School, which is in Southern Ohio near Dayton. And we we were just on the tour. We were just getting to learn the place, kind of know where some of the key areas were and hear some of the experiences. And we were just coming out of the lunchroom area, which is down in this lower area. And I was kind of the last one up, and I was talking to like one of the tour guides who was leading, bringing up the rear. And um, we were on the steps, and all of a sudden we heard what sounded like just a gigantic, like a big metal steel big thing just fell over and crashed. I mean, it was really loud, and everybody, kind of jumped. And I remember turning around, looking back down the stairs, going, "What was that?" And you're looking at the tour guides, thinking, "Okay, give us an explanation of it." And the next thing you know, like they're like shrugging their shoulders. And what did I do? I said, "I'm going down." Because that's how I am. I'm like, well, I want to go and find out what this is. I mean, I think any investigator, that's your whole role is to research and find out what the deal is. So I went down real quick, and then I think one of the tour guides came down with me, and we were just look kind of peeking in as many rooms as we can down there because with the kitchen and closets and things like that. When we were just looking everywhere and could not find anything that was out of place or that fell over. And but after we did, one quick sweep of everything, because I remember there was one spot that had some metal flooring and things that thought maybe that was it, but well, I was stepping on it and things, and I couldn't get the same sound. So ended up what happening is we went back upstairs and called the actual owner who was busy, but on site. So we had him come over, and then we went back down again to look for this noise. And for him knows the place because he owns it, and we were searching everywhere again, and we couldn't find it, and it was crazy. But that's the thing is, moments like that, it's like it scares people when you just don't expect it. And I think that's the thing that the other side does. They're going after things to try to either get you to run away and not investigate and get to find out who they are, or that's just their game. They're just going to mess with you and see what kind of fun they're going to have and laugh at your expense. So oh, good. Okay, well, that's good. She's teaching protection. Yeah. And main thing is always your intentions. I say it enough. We say it on our Tuesday night show, and a lot of other people believe in it. Set your intentions. If you're going to an investigation, here, I'm just here to communicate. I'm not here to have anything follow me home. If you're religious, by all means, please use your religion and ask for them, your God, or whatever name you call your person, to watch over you, and guides, angels, whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable, definitely call upon them and do that. Okay, Tina's sharing. I think this goes back to, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Tina, for putting that up there. Appreciate that. See, that's awesome. So perfect. So, but yeah, I mean, and Sheila, over time, what happens is you become so used to just it's like such a quick thought that anytime and I'm just saying me, when every time I walk into a location that's possibly, has activity, it's already all that stuff's already thought through within milliseconds because it's just so ingrained in me to know, okay, boom, okay. I'm here to just find out some stuff. I'm not here to do any, harm or mess with anything. But you know, you guys are more than willing to communicate with me, but at the same time, you're not going to be coming home with me because that's just not going to happen. You're here, and if you like it, then you stay here, or if you need help, well, I'll definitely help cross you over, you know, whatever you want, I will help you with, but you're not coming with me. So, but, um, but yeah, over time it's fun because our team, which is SWPI, I've talked about it before, and on with Debbie, I mean, Spirit World Paranormal Investigations, we have a location that is a museum and hall, and it's called the Old Mill and Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. And if you haven't heard of it, look it up. But if you have, you and been there, a lot about it. But we go there. Well, obviously, this year's been a little different, but when we are there on most years, we walk in there and it's just the same thing over and over again. You walk in, you're completely cool. I mean, the spirits know you, so they already aren't going to be wanting to travel home with you. Uh, so like we have resident spirits that are there that know us and talk to us often and cuss at us. Some of them do that too. And we're just so used to them and they're used to us. So it's kind of interesting because even then on like investigation nights, the we'll we offer to go with the talent and things like that, but at the same time we kind of we'll stay in our buzz room, which is the room where we kind of have all the anybody can leave their cases or equipment and things like that, and where we just hang out and we stay out of the way because it's also the most quiet. So not a lot of noise pollution that'll get out and cross contaminate with anybody's audio recordings. But we'll uh we'll hang back and people will come back after half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and like, are you getting much, you feeling it, and they're like, no. And they go, well, we can tag along and see if our presence will bring them out. And so sometimes it does. Majority of the time they because they know us, they're comfortable with us, so they're willing to chat. Just like, if we all become friends, what do? We all sit together and talk and get to know each other, and it's like, oh, cool. So same goes with those places. But um oh, West Virginia Penitentiary. Okay. That's I'm sure that was a real treat. And that's great, Lisa. Yep. Yeah. It's it's definitely a home away from home sometimes. Gosh, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago, I think I think it was I was somewhere I'm starting to forget the number because it's been a few years, but I spent maybe 30 plus, maybe I think it was like 37, 39 Fridays, at the old mill because we were so busy with investigations that year, whether it was a public or private. And I spent a lot of time there, that one year, and it was crazy just to be there. So, sometimes every single week, and for like I think the longest run I had was a month and a half straight or something like that. So, but again, that was a few years ago. What do you say? Okay. Hi, Lane. Yeah. Yeah, the bed stuff is, and that happens a lot. I've heard that many times, and it is. I mean, I can't imagine, something like that going on and being like, what is happening? I've never been asleep, in a place that's happened. I've investigated even in during the day. It was a daylight investigation just because of the schedule. And I remember just sitting on the edge of a bed, and I remember seeing and actually feeling uh the bed move. As far as the interesting thing was is that the previous owner that I don't believe died in the house, but she was, like one of those typical crazy cat ladies that you would see like on TV. They, dozens and dozens of cats running around the house, just all wild and things. Well, what was weird was is that the motion that you would see on the bed was the cat spirit like literally pushing down. So it was really wild to see the bed. You just see all of a sudden it dip down, and those are the things you live for because you're like, oh my gosh. And we had equipment. Hey Phil, what's going on? And we were gosh, I mean, to see these little spots, just like little dimples moving into the bed, you're just like, you got to be kidding me. Because that's just like, again, you live for things like that, but yeah, as far as a full bed shaking, no, but I mean, I know so many people that have had very similar experiences, and it is terrifying. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's for us old people, I mean, go back to like when you used to go to the hotel rooms and they used to have you put the quarters or whatever it was in there to uh get the bed to vibrate and stuff like that. Raise your hand if you're old enough to remember those hotel rooms. But uh I remember as a little kid, when we family trips and stuff like that, it was be like, oh, we got to put a quarter in there. So cheesy now thinking about it, um but yeah. So um and I would hope to assume, Elaine, that everything's okay now. I mean, hopefully you're not experiencing anything at this point, or if it was just that area, that location where you were. So, let me know, in the comments if that was just that one time. Oh, cool, Nancy. Yeah, it was a big number. It was a big number. So, um, that's cool. Now, Sheila, did you spend the whole day there? Did it take you the whole day, or was it a true investigation, or was more just kind of like a haunted tour where they just kind of take you around and tell you the haunted stories? Different places do different things. So some have it to where that's all it is. It's just a tour, but you can kind of investigate as you're going through the tour. But yeah, I was just kind of curious on how, because I've never been there, so I don't know what they do. So um but yeah, it's and that's the one thing that's been rough this year with the health. I've done a lot of personal private cases, uh not a lot as I usually do, because usually I do a couple dozen worth, cases personally. It's just for people reaching out to me on my page and things, and I do a lot of remote work that way. And um but this year obviously has been different, so I get it, and I think that was interesting too, because a lot of the um things seemed to be a little bit active when we went into sort of that lockdown in March, and then things got really quiet in like April, a little bit of May, and then it seemed like once the summer hit, things sort of picked up again. So it's been an interesting thing, and that's something I keep in the back of my head, is just seeing where the trends are, because it's you know how do is there something to it? Is it just because of this year? Hard to say, but let's see. Elaine. Okay, good. Good to hear, Elaine. Yeah, the Palo Santo, yep, that's another good one. Palo Santo, sage, whatever you use is fantastic. Both of them do great jobs. And it stopped. Okay. Well, that's important too. Like I said, that's why I wanted to make sure nothing else was, around you, when you got home and things, because that would, yeah, you don't want that. But with using Palo Santo, that'll definitely clear it up and things, and especially, your intention into it. Like I said earlier in the show, your intention is, you get take a firm stance and be like, nope, you're not coming home with me, and you got to mean it. I mean, can't be angry about it, but you got to mean it. So um and then let's see. Okay, cool, cool, Sheila. Oh wow, good. 9 to 5. Yeah. Yeah. See, we at our old mill, we do 8 to 4. So yeah, similar times, but that's great. Great. Awesome. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to go. I'd love to check. I mean, the biggest prison I've ever done was, OSR. So here, because I live in Ohio, so the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, that's the biggest prison I've done. And even then, that was a part of a bigger deal. So like, you had like 20, 25 people per group. So I mean, yeah, some of the areas, like the cell blocks, you can definitely spread out, but at the same time, when people are asking questions, you can hear it. So, it's a hard part about being in a really big, a big place, and that has bigger halls, because that echo is terrible. So you can never know 100%, is it from the other side? Are you hearing a true disembodied, or are you hearing just another investigator? You know, so that's the only thing I dislike about the big things. I mean, granted, we were investigating with a lot of TV celebrities, so you know, it's fun to just be able to be in the dark with, some of these people that, you watch on TV and stuff like that. So, and some of them, truly get into the whole thing. I mean, like they're really getting into it. They're sitting with you or standing with you and they're asking questions. And so that's always kind of cool, to me, that, when you get a chance to actually do the same thing that you see them do, week in and week out. So let's see. Lisa, yeah, I mean, it is true. One of my it's not my saying, but I say it a lot. Because I've heard it ever since I started doing mediumship. Uh, that I consider, and again, this is just the way I say it, but it basically is the same thing. So I always, my claim is that we are a lighthouse in a sea of darkness. So, and a lighthouse has a big beacon on top of it, a big light. Well, just like you having a light on your porch or back patio or back deck, you know, during the summer, what it was attracted to the light? Bugs. So I look at it as sort of the similar same way. So you're this beacon of light in a sea of darkness. Now, the darkness doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just the fact that it's dark all the way around you. Anything and everything is going to come and race towards you. It's just how that is, whether it's good or bad or evil. It's you get it all. And so that's a whole nother level of protection and things that we have to go through as mediums, to prevent the really bad stuff from messing with you, because it can do a lot of damage and mess up your life a lot. So there's a lot of things I do behind the scenes that, and I've been doing even before I opened up that mediumship door, that has allowed me to continue to do what I do. So, and it's important, it is. So, I mean, it's not something you can't just ignore. You really got to pay attention to it. So, I mean, and that's one of the things that you accept when you do this, because once you kind of open that door, it gets pretty difficult to close it. I mean, it's not impossible to close it again, but it just makes it harder to close it. So once you open it, I mean, because when I help people, consider going into, learning to communicate with the other side, I have to make sure they have thought about this and not just like, a couple hours or overnight. I need like a week or two, just to make sure that they're really 100% confirmed, because again, you open that door, you're going to deal with everything. So, all right. Let's see. First, okay, I'm just reading the lanes. First night standing at the foot of the bed. Yeah, and that's typical too, where a lot of hauntings and things that start, you might just hear little things or something, or you might catch something out of the corner of your eye. So it's always small little things at first, or like you said, just sensing somebody's in the room or you're being watched, or it's our senses. I mean, we all have the typical senses. So I mean, you can tell. I mean, you know I always use another analogy of, imagine you're in a crowded room. Why is it that at some point you feel compelled to look in a certain direction? And when you look over in that certain direction, what do you typically find? Somebody staring back at you. How did you know that? So that's always, something, or w- that, when you can just feel that somebody's staring at you, that's there it is. And then the other thing is imagine walking into a room and everybody can usually tell what the mood is like. Even if everybody stopped talking for a few seconds, you can almost tell, is everybody in a good mood? Is everybody in a foul mood? What you can usually tell pretty quick. And those are just small, basic, sensitive things that um, anybody can truly do, and just embrace that you can recognize that energy. A lot of people, when they're doing investigations, when they walk into a place, they can just feel the thickness. It's like you're walking into a heavy cloud that's difficult to move through. You can feel that, you can sense it, and people that don't do communication notice it. So it's not something that people haven't experienced over all these years of doing this. So um, it's always nice to kind of have those senses still working for you, and kind of giving you the, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't go in there, or I shouldn't turn down this street, and all those things you kind of listen to and use those senses. And if something's telling you not to do it, then listen to it, because it's probably true. you know All right, what do you got, Phil? Yeah, that goes back, Phil, to you know, I think the classic is uh thunderstorms. I think that's a perfect classic one to talk about. The the electricity from the lightning, builds up the atmosphere all around, especially when it's right there or close by or within, a few miles. I mean, even a few miles away, you can still sort of feel that tension. I wouldn't say tension, but you can feel that static electricity, in the air a little bit, and if you start to feel your hairs, popping up, it's like, so do certain conditions do it? Absolutely. Um, I funny story once was, um, you know, obviously, we know about when we have cold spots. That's usually, spirits trying to manifest in that particular area or spot. So it's pulling everything right there. Because you could be like, here's a cold spot, but over here it's warm. But you go back and it's cold. So it's weird that it can always be in an isolated pocket. Whereas it's like, if it's a fan, you'd feel it blowing through or something like that. But um my favorite thing of all time, was several years ago, and was at a place, and I think it was a public, and this one guy, was running around with a non-contact, thermometer, and he's scanning everywhere, and he would just it was just like he reminded me of just like somebody just that has no idea what they're doing. But he would just walk around and real loudly be like, "Nope, nope, nope," and he was just scanning, and finally, one time, I'm like, he got near me, and I'm like, "What's the deal?" And he's like, "Oh, this isn't the optimal, temperature for ghosts to communicate through or appear or do things," and I'm going, "What?" I was like, "What?" He and I'm like, "Well, what's the number?" And I can't remember what it was. It had to be like it was some like pretty low number. I mean, low 60s or 50s or something, some weird goofy number. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, y- doesn't mean that they can't communicate, because I think we've all have had uh EVPs when we didn't feel cold spots, and so I mean, there's so much that just kind of disproves that theory. But I think we all know that just even on the temperature aspect, I mean, it's just other pieces of evidence to help collaborate and back what you might be getting in the long run. So, just from an investigative side, which is what a lot of people are, you want as many different things. So, I mean, if you're feeling something when you walk into the room, okay, that's one thing. Yes, it's personal, but it's something. Doesn't mean it's going to be, true or false. Then, if you hear something tapping, oh, okay, well, now we got something that's getting our attention. Now it's backing up the feeling when I walked in. And then, oh, wait, there's a cold spot over here. Well, that's kind of interesting. I mean, all this stuff is kind of happening in a order, not that it will always do that, but it's just neat to start getting that. Or then if you got EMF gear, well, now the meters are lighting up, but it wasn't lighting up when you walked into the room, and now they are. And then when you listen to your recording back, I got a voice, saying, "Hello, how are you?" Whatever the whatever the voice might be, or "Get out." Um, and even then, taking photos or video, maybe you'll catch an anomaly or catch a full body apparition. Um, so yeah, I'm not, I think, yeah, certain conditions certainly do it. I mean, I have investigated in the hottest attics and had great activity. I've been in similar conditions and not gotten anything. I've investigated in the winter. I've been outside in the winter with snow on the ground. That sucks, but sometimes you get stuff and sometimes you don't. So I think there's opportunities that present it when it comes to, you know, does it help? Sure. Let's just, say it, certain conditions probably help spruce it up, but it doesn't mean to me, at least what I've experienced over the years, is it 100% genuine, you know? So, uh, but I think it's always something that I think needs to be people need to be aware of. I mean, I don't think I mean, especially our team, I think anytime we're at the mill and we hear thunderstorms are coming or stuff like that, we're always like, well, we wonder if the activity is going to happen. Well, have a good day, Sheila. You take care. We'll see you soon. And yeah, Phil. Yep. Yeah, like I said, I I think I mean, like I said, I think there's obviously some of that can help maybe bring them to do more, but at the same time, I think if they want to get their message across, well then they're going to do it regardless of what the conditions are. Maybe it's going to take more on their side of things to get that energy to do it, where versus whether it's a weather situation like lightning, or whether it's warmer or maybe it's colder, you know, because even then, I know I've been in cold conditions and felt a cold spot on top of the cold conditions, because you put, same thing, you put your hand here and it's like, that's really cold. You over here, well, that's not so bad. So, you mean, so they're still able to draw from, conditions. I think it's the spirit, it's the location, but yes, I think there is going to be times too where, even then, what happens if it's a residual? So, is it only those are just going to happen on a certain day, certain time, and that's it. It's you get one shot at it, and then that's all it is. And uh, holy, I have no idea what just fell above me, but something fell above me. That's not paranormal because my family's up there. So that was pretty cool. I hope you guys heard that. I was not startled. I was just like, what are they dropping up there? So yeah, Phil. Well, yeah, Phil. So yeah, it just like I said, you know, I think what the other thing is to be able to go to that same location and test those theories out is another great way to know which way that spot is. So, like us in the old mill, I mean, we've been there every month of, all times of year during all different kinds of weather conditions, So, you know, we've had thunderstorms right in Dundee, and nothing's happened, and nothing's spiked up. So, I mean, why is it? I don't know. So, but I think it would be great that if you can get a chance to be in that same spot different times of the year just to see if you get an increase or not, then that's the investigator side that you need to have come through. Elaine. Well, you know, I'm good about this as far as, it's good that there's certain people that if you ask this question, you will be tore up. So I'm a little bit more nicer about things, and over the years, seeing enough of it to truly know, what is and what isn't. So is an orb in a photo considered paranormal? So there's a lot of things going on. Um, so if you well, in general, okay, here's the thing is, so a lot of investigators know that if you are investigating and you're going to do photo, you're not going to take one photo, you're going to take several photos. Okay. My number is always three. Just because sometimes, maybe picture two has got something. So you have a picture before and a picture after. I like three. So if I'm going to, take a photo, it's click, 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 and then look. Don't worry about what's going on. I mean, some of them, like your phones, and some of you can see the preview screen real quickly, but you do them in threes, because you that is going to help you kind of collaborate and maybe debunk or prove that you got something. Now, there's a lot of dust, there's a lot of moisture. So again, knowing where you're at and knowing the location helps tremendously, because, you know, the it's weird because you really have to put it the right way, because, some people are just like, ooh. um but you there it so a lot of times, see, orbs, a lot of the classic dust ones and stuff, when it's right in front of the camera, like you guys will see them. Like I've seen a couple, orbs fly by. It's not spirits, it's truly dust, because, I talk about this all the time. I never clean this desk where I do my shows. So like right now, like I have an extra monitor over here. If I touch the monitor and I brush it, I'm going to get dust all in front of my camera here, my laptop. So, hey, Heather. So to me, and again, this is my opinion. I'm not saying anything anybody else's stuff is right or wrong. You know, when you're there in the moment and you're taking the photos yourself, or you're next to somebody that's taking the photos yourself, you can already start to judge what's going on. You can tell if the room's been clean. Like here, if I start moving things, the dust is going to go everywhere and you're going to start seeing more of them. Even then, there's times where the light hits me just right and I can actually see the dust in front of my eye floating by the camera. So I can clearly see that it's dust. I'm not a big fan of perfectly shaped orbs. I do not like the most perfect circle looking things that are basically translucent, very see through. Those are not my favorite. I'm personally looking for, when I see an orb, I like to see it very solid. Um, and that's just personally because I've experienced enough with my guides that came in orb form a lot to give me reminders, but they were like bright little lights that were flying by. I mean, bright. I mean, not as much as like a flashlight, but imagine, it in that kind of same idea where it's very solid, you can't see through it. And that's even then looking straight on it. I When I see the circular shapes and they're really see through, I'm not saying it isn't 100%, but it doesn't kind of sort of fall in that category because every time you see orbs, whether it's moisture, whether it's dust, they all basically have the same shape and are relatively translucent. Even water moisture, mist, and things like that. I mean, they all create that perfect circular shape. Now, a lot of times the orbs will kind of be irregular, maybe oval shaped, or even maybe even a little elongated in things. So that's where I start to look into. Plus, again, knowing where you're at, you can feel. You can say, well, I kind of feel something. So, okay, well, maybe there's something here. And then all of a sudden, maybe you catch something, whether it's on a live camera or on a photo. You know, Again, it's that whole thing where you're backing up your evidence to kind of help you out with your um process of your evidence. I mean, can you prove it or disprove it? um so again, I love solid, and again, that's just me and what I've experienced. I'm not going to tell anybody else that what their stuff is bad. I mean, I'll look at it, and you sometimes you could probably tell if I'm like into it or if I'm not into it. But I'm going to be respectful because, hey, if you were there and you thought and you felt certain things, then I mean, I'm going to go with you on it. I might not necessarily be sold, but at the same time, you've seen enough of them. It's like, you can kind of tell it's just fishy. Even going to like really abandoned style buildings or buildings that, are open to tours and they're not really cleaned real well. You get people's foot traffic or all that starts kicking up. Like I just watched the dust right there. I don't know if it caught it on camera. I just watched the dust go right there. So, um, you know, so a lot of that kicking up, and that's the other thing is if it's not clean, it's easy to kick that dust up. And some of the shows do show you differences, and there's certain ones that a lot of people hate, and I've seen them actually show the difference between whether it's an insect, whether it's dust, or whether it's something more anomaly like so that's I like when they do that, when they can really show you the differences in, especially with the same equipment. You really can truly see how they get debunk it or prove it in things. So yeah, and lens flares, a couple of little ones. Yeah, and lens flares are easy. Obviously, I don't have a. Yeah, I mean, you get that lens flare, it's just like cone of light that starts shooting towards like the lens or from a light source and things. And that's why, it's always good to sort of do three things. Nancy wrote up a little bit ago about the green orb that was on me. Color's another fantastic thing because obviously, what do we see mostly in orbs? They're always sort of that kind of white iridescent, maybe with a slight, little hazy, maybe a little yellow, kind of, but relatively white. Um, the orb that she was talking about was in our basement at the old mill, and we had pro. Well, this cool thing was we had two pro photographers. One was from a magazine, the other one was a friend of ours that was shooting. So the magazine person was taking a shot. Well, where I was standing, there was a light just behind my head. Well, when she took the shot, you could see the streak. I'm like, "Oh, is this something like," and I'm kind of looking, I'm like, no. So I said, take two or three steps to your left. So she takes a couple steps over and then she's taking shots. And while she takes these shots, I was already experiencing a resident spirit in our basement called Marie. Well, sure enough, you see this green orb that was on my arm, which was exactly where I was feeling her, because that's what Marie does when I'm there. She grabs onto my left arm. So, my arm is cold, which is classic. So if you ever come through and I'm there, or any of the like Nancy is a tour guide there, or some of our teamers that tell that story, you know, that if you feel anything on your left side, that's you typically Marie grabbing on. And so she's always been my girlfriend. And it was great to get that capture of this green orb. So I mean, even then, we could see on her camera what a lens flare looked like. And then when she moved and got away from the angle of the lens, the light doing a lens flare, she then got a shot of this green anomaly, and it was amazing. And like I said, I was experiencing things, so all that stuff started to add up and build into something that was genuine. So that's when we get to tell the story like just now, we can really say there was all these events happening, and it's hard to say it wasn't. But at the same time, if somebody says, oh, that's just a lens flare, or that's just something on the on the lens or something, I mean, and then you're going to get that. The naysayers are going to say what they want to say. But it's neat is when you're there and you get to experience it, and everybody else that was there, which was a group of us, we all were like, there was no doubt about it. Because I remember when she started looking at the photos, I was still standing there with Marie holding on to me, and I was talking to her. Everybody was crowding around the camera and looking at this, going, "Oh my gosh, that's incredible." So those are fun. Uh, And Phil, yeah, going back to the orb thing, yeah. I love it when I can see them with my own eyes. I absolutely love it, because when you can see, just like I said, when I can see the dust flying around me, and it comes across, or I can, dust, so you could just be like, I know it, you know. Or if it's so bright that there's a light moving down there. That's really bright, and like that's something. And then if you got it on a camera, you got it on video, I mean, that just again helps out support your case. I know some people, when they're taking using their phones and stuff like that, I mean, you're shooting as best you can, and again, knowing the situation, knowing where you're at, that's always the important thing. Yeah, and Elaine, a lot of people have done that too. So, there's times too where you have to be careful what you're seeing in these things. Um, there's a lot of uh, there's a our minds the way, and I can't remember the term right off the top of my head right now. Matrixing, I think that's it. So there's a lot of times, and again, I'm not discrediting anything you're saying. Um, there's times where there's images that we see that we think is something, but it's truly not. And our group will do a big presentation. And when we do a big presentation, we show you what matrixing looks like. And so we show you zoomed in photos of stuff. And then what we do is we zoom back out and we show you what it actually is. Now, everybody will say, oh, well, that's a face. Well, then when we zoomed out, it ended up being like one of them is fun. We zoom in and you clearly see a face. It's weird shaped. It's got sort of black eyes and got a mouth and everything. But when you zoomed back out, when we show them the full shot, it was a piece of popcorn. Okay, so those are the things that you have to be aware of. I have seen it, especially on some of the shows, which you always got to be careful with. And then people coming up and say, "Hey, look at this," and yeah, there clearly looks like there's a face in the orb. Is it 100% genuine? I don't know. I mean, and it's not disproving or discrediting it. I wasn't there, so I can't say what the feelings were like. If they tell me this is what they were experiencing, then I'll start to be like, yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, it does happen, you know. And I have seen some faces that are. It's interesting because they do even match up with possibly somebody that died there, or is just a resident spirit there. So it's not uncommon. So yeah, it gets interesting when you're looking at video and photo evidence, but definitely, always make sure you're taking multiple pictures before you move your hand, or move your camera, or if it's on a tripod, take a bunch of them before you move, because again, it's so much. It helps because it can either prove or disprove, that you got something. um and that experience comes over time, because the more you see this stuff, I mean, you know I used to think that too, early in my days, that, everything floating by was something. And then when you finally do this a lot more times and you start to really see it, and then you actually see that it's a dust or a bug or something, then you're like, you know, you wish it was, but, it is what it is sometimes. It's how it goes. So, but, well, it is 10:30, gang. So I never really wanted to go too much past an hour. I always wanted to kind of keep it because obviously it's Saturday and everybody's got, things probably planned for today. So I wanted to make sure to not take up your entire morning. So I am going to get out of here. So I'm going to start my day. I got a lot of chores and things around the house to do. Oh joy, right? But um that's always a good thing too. Got to get some projects done, and I got some repairs to make, which I'm just not looking forward to. I hate doing repairs, but um when it's necessary when you're a homeowner, right? Y'all can agree with me. So, but anyway, all right. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out today. So anybody that's watching this back, appreciate it. Thanks for the love and support. Again, thanks for all the well wishes over the last few weeks. They definitely were helpful. It's I hope that I can kind of continue to go up this roller coaster again, so that things are or get over this hump of health issues and things, so that way I can do, hey Ron, what's up, buddy? Yeah, hi and bye. But hey, good. I hope everything is going great at Exit 13, man. Hopefully it was a good night last night. And so enjoy the rest of your weekends. I like I said, we're going to continue to do this with a bi-weekly thing. And again, if situations change and I feel like jumping back on because it's going to work out, then I will. But if not, I will see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy yourselves, watch my post, and if I continue to do as good as I am, if everything gives a proof, and there was something I was going to do a couple weeks ago that I still want to do again. So there might be another pop up show possibly in the evening sometime. I'm not going to say this week because I don't know. I want to make sure everything's, squared away. But I definitely want to make sure that, I'm in a good spot because that's key what I'm going to do for that show. But it will be a pop up, and I will not reveal what it is just yet. But you'll all definitely want to attend. Oh, I bet Ron. I can't imagine it wouldn't have been busy. The weather's decent right now and it's not too cold to hang out. So glad to hear it, man. Glad to hear it. I was thinking about you guys last night. So cool, man. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate that, man. Good to chat with you. Thanks for the questions. Those were great, man. So with that said, guys, you guys, this has been mid morning medium chat with yours truly, the Black Swamp Medium, and I will see you guys soon in a post or pop up show. And if not, I will definitely be back live in a couple weeks. So you guys have a great Saturday and Sunday, and we will see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.